once you get your props in, we'll get started, because what I want to do is the first thing is build our incline, which we've done plenty of times together, so that we have the chest open and the arms relaxing, and then the hips lower than the chest. I'm going to see how I'll start with mine today. Sometimes it's good to build it differently and kind of explore different ways. Rolling blankets are also really good for this too, so they act like a bolster. That. Yeah, and I just wanted to build it a little differently today to see, you know, what I could come up with. It's always good to experiment. A little something different going on today. All set? All right. All right, so we're going to start with the bottom on the mat, and then everything else is going to be on your incline. The head can be part of the incline if you can build it up enough, but it doesn't have to be. So once you find your way down, just make any adjustments you need. So your head could, you know, be all the way up here if you wanted, or you could just kind of release it this way. But what we want is to be able to feel that the shoulders are lower than the chest. You know, there's that idea about a string being attached to part of the body and it being lifted. So in this way, you could imagine that it's at the heart center and that string is being lifted up, and then the body just pauses there. The arms are resting, palms flipped up. Sometimes if it feels better to you, you could support the elbows so they aren't just hanging loose, right? You could have pillows underneath the forearms. Just a matter of preference and how you want to feel. But the focus here is on opening the chest, opening the front of the shoulders, which tend to get closed, which then closes our ability to breathe more deeply, to really fill the lungs. We want to undo those constrictions that we've imposed on ourselves. And so we're going to just focus on being in this position for a little bit while we watch the breath first without changing it. Although the position itself is going to inspire the breath to change. See? I'm going to watch that process. Watching rise and fall, the belly of the chest, the whole trunk in a wave-like fashion. We're going to start to deepen the breath, but we're going to also invoke the sound of Om, and we can do it physically with our vocal instruments, or we can do it internally, and eventually I want us to get to an internal point. So we can take a deep breath in, for example, and then on the exhale, hear internally the sound of Om as you breathe down into the belly. So it's like that sound traveling from the heart center down into the belly, and there you hear that resonate, that Om. Again, you take a deep breath in. Hold. And maybe you practice it verbally a couple times, but eventually hearing that there's a sound and yet it's a silence, and it's moving through the trunk down and living in the belly. Sensing every time you find that exhalation and you sense that sound and that silence, it becomes a calmer and calmer experience. Maybe even starting to pick up on the joy of the experience. We'll cycle through about 3 more times. The next exhalation, you can let that release out through the mouth. And we're slowly going to be rising up. Take your time. Depending on the position of the head, you might need to use the hands or a hand to help pick up the head. Then maybe prop the elbows, prop the trunk up by pressing elbows down. Bring the trunk up, and we're going to fold over the legs. We can have a foot in front of shin, or foot underneath the shin, and then we're just going to begin to fold and release, and let the back round here. Maybe sway a little bit side to side. I know that for me it feels like I'm ready to do that, and things start to open up a little bit. Just exploring your body as you sink and lower. Finding support for the head. Remember, we have plenty of props to help us today. I want to really come into that experience of feeling supported. Because once we get to our balancing postures, we really need to feel that sense of connection to a surface below us. So letting the forehead feel supported as you release. We'll be here for maybe a minute. Now notice if you're holding onto something in the body that you really don't have to hold on to. So the neck, for example, you can relax the neck completely because the head is supported, even if it's hanging loose. The idea is that we don't have to hold the head in this position. So that means neck can relax. And the shoulders can relax. And the whole spine, since you aren't needing to hold it up straight right now, you can relax any effort in the spine and the surrounding muscles. And once you've relaxed those spaces, notice where you're feeling the most sensation in the body. Breathing into those places. Now we'll start to rise. So that was about 1.5 minutes, maybe a little longer. I'm going to start to rise. We'll take the legs out for a moment and open them up. Take the feet as far away from each other as you can. Flex and point the feet a few times. Hands can be in front of you or behind you. I'm going to give some motion to the ankles and start to wake up the legs. Take some circles. And then let's cross the ankles in the opposite order. So you had right in front before maybe, so now left in front. Under. And then we just lower and find that support again. Notice if the side feels different and how it feels different. Activate what needs to be activated. And release what needs to be released. And really here, what I have most activated is my attention, simply my attention. My rest of my body doesn't really have to do much here at all, so I can release and relax into it. Be here for 1.5 minutes, breathing deeply, breathing into the belly, maybe coming back into that sound of Om, experiencing that sound, internal sound and silence at the same time. In and nourishing, exhaling that Om all the way down into the belly. And that's our 1.5 minutes. So we'll start to rise. Take the legs out. And bring the hands somewhere to support the spine, and then begin to move the feet again. Okay, let's just fold into this. So it's going to be uncomfortable because we really haven't done much with the legs. So we'll just start to, experiment and see if maybe you want to keep the spine long as you start to fold. Because we won't be here too long. We just want to experiment. Notice, what is it like when I'm here the first time around? So with the intention of probably coming back to this at some point later. And then maybe we can round the back or continue to fold in with a straighter back. And maybe take 3 deep breaths. You can bend the knees if it's too hard to be here with straight legs. And we'll start to rise. We're going to come to seated before we get a little bit more active here. Sitting up tall, crossing the ankles. And then bringing left hand to chest, right hand to belly. Let's just be sure that we're breathing deeply and that the belly is engaged here as we continue to go forward. So take a deep breath in, and actually let's empty the lungs, and we're going to let the body just work with the atmosphere. So the inhale won't be any effort on your part. So we could just take a breath in for a moment. And then exhale all the way down until you contract the belly. To the bottom of the exhale, we're going to contract the belly and then simply relax and let the body fill itself. The atmosphere work with the body. You inhale, you just start to feel the belly expand and it works up towards the chest. Now engage Ujjayi Pranayama. Sink back down into the belly, contracting. The body really fills on its own, but now we have that constriction in the throat. We let the breath really be. It helps us feel that tranquility. It tranquilizes the emotions in the mind and just kind of lets everything settle. So let's keep that breath going and then let's shift over to hands and knees. Move the props over. We'll try to get to them again later. And then for our shoulders, we're going to be taking circles with the shoulders, with hands and knees down. So what we'll do is drop the neck between the shoulders, dropping into the shoulder girdle, and then take the shoulders back and then push into the hands as you lift the neck back away from the shoulder girdle. And we'll take the shoulders forward, sink back into the shoulders, back, and then push them down. We're going to take a few more of these, and as you're doing this, you might feel that it makes sense for you to move other parts of the spine, like in a wave-like motion, as if you're moving through a cat-cow. Again, this is mostly coming from the sinking into the shoulders, pushing out of them. And as you're doing this, close the eyes and really pay attention to the mechanics of the body. There's no right way to do this, just the way that you're doing it. We're going to start to change the direction. And then moving shoulders back, up, forward, down. Let's shift into a cat posture. And what we'll do is we'll take an inhale, come into cow, sink the belly, lift the head. Keep the shoulders still now. And then exhale, rise up to the fingertips as you lift the belly and drop the head. And then we're going to hold here for about 3 breaths in cat. Pull the belly in a little bit more in the exhalations. And let's rest in child's posture. So we'll lower hips down, maybe spread the knees. And start to release the head. Maybe bring arms alongside body. If you can bring the forehead down, what you could do is keep knees closer and then bring forehead to a block. And then let the shoulders drop. Five deep breaths.
Make sure to contract the belly at the bottom of the exhale. We'll start to rise up.
The table posture. And then into downward facing dog. The hands forward, over toes, lift the knees. A little bit of motion first. Now we're going to focus here, once you find a little bit more of a still position, we're going to focus on keeping the arms nice and straight and long, pushing away from the palms and the fingers. So we're pushing into them and then drawing the hips back and up to really find length in the back and trying to send the heart towards the thighs on the exhalation. So taking a breath in, sending heart back towards the thighs. Dropping the head, inhaling, heart towards the thighs. Knees might need to be bent at this time. Heels might need to be lifted. Heart towards the thighs. And then let's look forward and step the right foot forward, just the right foot. Keep the back heel lifted for a moment. Find the right knee over the right ankle and then begin to rise up a high lunge. So we haven't come to standing yet, so maybe the body is feeling like kind of disoriented a little bit, maybe not so balanced. We're going to push down into the right foot and push down into the ball of the left foot and kind of draw the feet pushing down and then inward as if they're trying to find each other, but they're going to stay exactly where they are. We're really activating the legs. And we'll take the arms, let's take them out and send the arms back. Then we'll inhale, reach the arms up. And we're going to stay like this with the legs. And then as if we're taking lat pull downs, we'll have the palms facing forward. As you exhale, take the elbows out to the sides, squeeze them a little downward, and then we'll inhale, lift the arms. Let's take 5 more, so 6 total. The legs engaged. Okay, so after those 5, we'll just open the arms out to a T again. Sink into the right knee for 1 more breath. And then bring the hands down around the right foot. Step the left foot up. Pretty intense. Right leg is ready to get, the right hip, particularly the glute, ready to get a little stretched here. So we're going to come up halfway, lengthen the spine. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, come all the way up to standing. Reach the arms upwards. Find a little back bend, engage the thighs. And then neutral spine, palms together, draw the hands in. We're going to find a single-legged chair posture. If you need support, you can go closer to a wall or a chair itself or a desk, table. or you could go through without any support except for the body and the floor. So we're going to do this with the right leg. So we can start to shift towards the left leg and put a little bend in the left knee. And if you're by a surface, it could be anywhere. You'll see how you need to use it. Lift the right foot and set it on top of the left thigh, flexing the right foot. Then we're going to bend into the left knee and go a little deeper, thinking as if you're seated in a chair. So you want to keep the heart as lifted as you can, and then sink the hips low. The flexion of the right foot is going to help create stability. That this right leg it's active, but then the flexion is also going to help open up the hip a little bit. So we're going to sink a little lower and find 5 deep breaths. Now, if you want more challenge, you can take arms upwards if that feels right to you, or out to the sides. Start to come out. Releasing the foot down. Coming to the top of the mat, where we'll inhale, reach the arms upwards. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lengthen. Exhale, hands down. Let's take a little vinyasa here. So we'll step the feet back and then lower. Inhale, come into a back bend, maybe for a couple breaths. And then we'll find downward facing dog once again, where we'll focus the emphasis being the heart center. The straight arms, dropping the head, inhaling, feeling the length of the arms in the back, exhaling the heart towards the thighs. Inhaling, exhale, heart back. Now 2 more focused breaths. Remember pushing into the palms and the fingers. Okay, so from here we're going to step the left foot forward. Keep the back heel lifted. And then once you feel like you've got a little bit of balance, you'll start to rise. So once I've risen, my legs, are shaky. I want to stabilize them. So pushing into both feet, then drawing them in towards each other. Notice what becomes active here. We'll take the arms out, the sides. Next inhalation, take them upwards. 6 times, drawing elbows out to the sides and back as you exhale. Okay, after that 6th one, maybe taking the arms out to the sides again. Just a few more breaths. Sink in a little deeper, one more breath. And then bring the hands down. Step the right foot up. Come up halfway, lengthen. Exhale, release. Inhale all the way up to standing. Exhale, hands together, draw them in. Let's come into the left side of this balancing posture. So find what you're going to use for support. Even if it's just connecting your mind and your foot to the surface beneath. We shift the weight to the right leg. We bend the right knee nice and softly. Left ankle on top of right thigh, flexing the left foot, dropping the left knee. And then when you're ready, begin to lower into a deeper bend in the right knee, keeping the heart lifted. About 4 more deep breaths. A little lower. We'll start to find our way up. Releasing the foot. Well, let's take another vinyasa since we did it before, a full sun salutation. So feet hip distance apart on the mat. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lengthening. Exhaling, hands down, stepping back, lowering. Inhaling, back bend. Maybe another breath here. And then we'll come back into downward facing dog. So same idea, 5 breaths here as we focus on lengthening. Shifting awareness into the arms and the back on the inhale. Shifting that attention to the heart center on the exhale as we send the heart back. Two more breaths like that. Okay, now we're going to step the right foot forward again, but then this time we'll walk over to face the left side of the mat. Coming into a forward fold here, bringing the hands down and then separating the feet. So maybe the hands have to come to blocks and you have to prop up a little bit, and that's totally fine. But we want to feel that the hands and the feet can be supported. Now we're going to just be here for a little bit. Let's say 2 minutes. So we know we have plenty of time. And that means that if we are able to lower, we're able to find forearms down. We're able to separate the feet a little bit more. Maybe we're even able to like rest the forehead or the head somewhere, block or the mat. Just kind of get comfortable being in a position where there's just a little bit of discomfort. Hopefully you can go as far to the point where you feel in the groin, while stretching there. You have the toes facing the side of the mat. And get into the ankles. So we're almost at our first minute here. Just 1 more minute. Want to change around, change the position of the feet. I'm going to take a couple clearing breaths here. And we're going to start to find our way out. So hands down, heel to the feet a little closer together, but still good distance between so we can kind of move through some twisting lunges here. So we're going to walk the hands forward around the right foot, back heel's lifted again. Bring the left palm down, and then inhale, lift the right arm up into twisting lunge here. Now take this right arm and just wave it around, up and over, and then back. I'm going to feel the shoulder blade a little uncomfortable there. And then we'll bring the right hand down to the inside of the right foot and simply walk over to the back leg. Plant the right palm down, shift left toes to face back of the mat. Lift the left arm. First time we're here, a couple breaths with just the still left arm. And then we'll start to wave, big wave. Okay, we'll take the left hand down to the inside of the left foot. Walk back to center. And we're going to come to, I think here, let's walk forward actually, before we come to walk forward. Hands around the right foot. Bring the left knee down. And the top of the left foot comes to the mat. And then we'll lift the trunk. And we'll roll the shoulders a little bit as we sink into the right knee. And let's reach the arms upwards. Exhale, palms together, bring the hands in. And then take left elbow outside of the right knee. Might need to stabilize the right leg by pressing the right hand against it first. And then bringing hands together, coming into a little prayer twist. Turning the head to the right. And pull the low belly in. We'll come to center. Right from here, walk the hands back and come to seated either on the left heel or on the bottom with the foot to the inside of the right thigh. Inhale, take the arms up. Exhale, hinge forward, hands somewhere to the right leg or to the mat. Flexing the right foot, keeping length in the back now. 4 deep breaths. The focus is on the heart again. Every exhalation, the heart extending forward and slightly down. We'll start to rise. And then come back to the right foot, the left knee. Pick up the left knee and walk over to the left leg. Or we'll bring the right knee down. Lift the trunk. Sink into the left knee as you inhale, arms upwards. Exhale, hands together, back into that prayer twist. So right elbow outside the left thigh. Pull the belly in. Then pushing the leg and the arm into each other as you twist to the left. And the twist, the focus is still in the heart center, shifting left with every breath out. And we'll inhale, come to center. Bring the hands down. Walk back as you extend that left leg forward and either sit on the heel or on the bottom. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, come forward, hands to leg or to the mat. But again, keep the length in the back as best as you can. And then on the exhalation, heart forward, slightly down. About 4 more breaths like that. Okay, we'll start to rise. Back to the left foot, lift the back knee, walk to the center for a moment. We're going to just kind of fold into this, but we're going to travel the trunk a little bit from side to side. So you could just walk over towards the left leg, extend the arms, and send the hands maybe as far away from the right hip as you can. You go far enough, if you find enough length in the right arm, go far enough away from that right hip, you'll feel a nice stretch in this area that where we tend to feel those stretches when we're taking nice side bends. So it's kind of nice because you're getting a forward fold and you're being able to stretch the side body, the tense area, to the front of the shoulder blade, towards the armpit. Relax into this for one more breath. And then we'll start to come up halfway so we can walk over to the right. Walk the hands far away from the left hip. Still good spot to use blocks if you need blocks. You can also have hands to the leg. And try to focus the pull so you're feeling right underneath the arm to the leftmost side of the chest. Behind there. 2, 3 more breaths. All right, come to center. Just relax into this for a moment. So maybe you feel like you could just drop the trunk and the head. No need to really try hard here. Just fold and just let the head hang loose. Another deep breath. I'm going to come up halfway and then walk over to the front of the mat. Bring the palms down, step the right foot back,
I'm into downward facing dog. I'd like to get into a pigeon with a back bend. So we're going to take the right leg and maybe lift it up. And then take right knee to right hand, left leg sliding back. A little bit of a sway. Keep the trunk upright for now, so have the hands pressed down or the fingers pressed down. And then begin to lower. I think this is a good spot to thread the needle today too. So first we'll get in for about 5 deep breaths. And of course, the more intensity you need, the more the right foot comes out to the left without creating an imbalance in the hips. You need to stay even with each other. Now let's thread the needle while we're here. Sometimes it helps to have a block for this, or you can use the left foot. We're gonna lift the head and take the right arm underneath the left arm. And then let the right side of the face rest. We don't want to put a kink in the neck, so we want to see if we can keep the neck fairly, straight. So the left fist for me works under the right temple, or again, a block underneath the right temple. Now here we can do that technique where we straighten the right arm and then send the right shoulder back. Straight right arm, sending the right arm back into the socket. And then you might relax that for a moment. And then again, straighten the right arm and send it back. Relaxing the arm. Again, straightening, sending back. And then we can just kind of relax out of this. Bringing that right arm back. And after that, I like to take the right arm behind, right to the lower back with the palm flipped up. Feels like a nice counter position. Nice clearing breath. And then we're going to start to rise out of this. But from here, we're going to find a little bit more of a back bend. So bending the left leg and seeing if we can get a hold of it with either the right hand or the left hand. And if you can do both, then just stick with one or the other. The left will be a little bit more intense if you can get that position so that you can turn to the left. You want to feel that discomfort in the shoulder blade region again. And release. We'll switch sides so we can come out of this and maybe take that right leg up and behind again. And then we'll switch. So when you're ready, left leg up. Left knee to left hand, right leg slides back. We're coming first into that little bit of a back bend. Pressing into the hands or fingers, start lifting. And then we're going to lower down. Oh. Right, let's thread the needle. So we'll come up halfway, lift the head, thread the left arm underneath the right. Again, find support for the left side of the face if the mat is too low. And then we'll straighten the left arm and pull the left arm back. Relax the left arm. Straighten. Pull back. Relax. Straighten. Pull back. And maybe relax here for a breath or two. And then we'll unthread and take the left hand, maybe behind the back, palm up, lowering the head. Couple more deep breaths. And we'll start to rise. We'll find the back bend first, bending the right leg. A hand to the foot if possible, and if not, then you need to focus on keeping the back bending and strengthening that way, using supportive hands as we did before. That discomfort in the right, around the right shoulder blade. And releasing. Hands down. Left leg up and behind again. And let's come to seated. So from seated, we'll have hands on the knees and circle shoulders. The other way. Keep the shoulders up for a moment and then lower them down. Nice side bend is in order. So let's take the arms out and then bring left hand down, right arm up and over. Inhale, come to center. Just switch the order of the legs just so that they're evened out. And then take a side bend to the other side. And come back to center. Okay, hands can rest somewhere in the thighs. Maybe fold them into each other. We're going to create mobility in the neck. So lift the head up and down, dropping. Bring the head to center, turn the head left. Right. Bring the head to center. Drop the chin and take little quarter movements here. From chin to shoulder, chin to shoulder. like a chin moves to shoulder, chin down, then moves to shoulder. Sometimes I say something and it echoes and I say that didn't make sense. And bring the chin down, bring the chin back up to center. Lift the right ear up here for 3 breaths. Head back to center, lift the left ear up. Center. Move the head a little bit, shake it out. Circle or 2. We're going to just take a quick little stretch for the front of the neck, but I do encourage you to stretch as much of the front of the neck as you can to counteract all the computer work by doing those motions where we go in that diagonal back and we create some resistance. But for now, a quick little version, crossing the hands, pressing into the base of the neck right above the collarbone. Put that pressure on those muscles and then lift the chin. And relax. Releasing. So just tune into your body for a moment. You're going to find your final position, your final posture before Shavasana. So maybe you want a back bend, maybe you want some spinal twist or a little bit of both or something else. I did say maybe we would try to kind of fold the legs or take the legs out and fold forward again. So if you want to take that, but we didn't get to it, that's an option. Well, we're going to take like a minute and then we'll be resting. Another couple breaths. So finding your way, I extended that a little bit, finding your way to lying down. If you want to finish the way that you started in that reclining position, feel free to set that up. Now, as we were practicing earlier, we're going to let ourselves rest into that sound, that silence of that inner experience of Om. So about 3 times, you've got the body resting, relaxed, and you have deactivated from the toes to the hips, from the fingers to the shoulders. from the hips all the way up the neck and up to the crown of the head. And we'll find that breath in, and we'll create that inner Om deep into the belly. Once more. Now letting that inner silence and that internal sound spread through the whole body, enveloping it and supporting it all at once. Resting. Resting even further, letting all the joints release and rest. All the tissues of the body releasing and resting. All the efforts of the mind releasing and resting. Now starting to simply become aware of the body again. Become aware of the breath. Become aware of your inner experience. Maybe you are experiencing a sense of relief or a sense of calm and peace. I'm going to start to move the hands and the feet. Finding a long stretch, lifting the belly button. Let the knees come in, hold the knees. And then find your way to seated. We're going to seal our practice and also bless the rest of our day with the sound of Om. So we'll bring palms together, breathing in. Om. Thank you for practicing and sharing that practice with me today. I honor the light in you that is the same light in me. Namaste.